The US economy is acting a bit weird right now. Now think of it like someone feeling a bit under the weather. We are not sure if it's just a cold or something more serious. And under Donald Trump's reign, somehow it doesn't feel unusual anymore. So what's actually happening? The stock market is shaky. Now imagine the stock market is like a report card for big companies. The S&P 500 is like the average score of the top 500 companies in the US stock market. So when the S&P 500 drops, it means people are worried about how those companies are doing. And nobody likes to get the average down, right? And the GDP growth projections are at a negative 2.4% in the first quarter of 2025. Now, GDP is like measuring how much stuff a country makes in a year, and if it is going down, it means the country is making less, which is not good. And on top of that, Donald Trump is imposing extra tariffs. So, tariffs are basically extra charges that are put on the things one country buys from other countries. It is like adding a tax to the imported goods. This makes things more expensive, and when the prices go high, people choose to buy less, which means pumping little money into the economy. It leads the country towards a possible recession. A recession is like when a shop has a very few customers for a very long time. People might lose jobs and things may become harder for everyone. And when the prices of the things go up, inflation happens. And inflation is basically a general rise in the prices of the everyday things we consume. Things get expensive, and here comes the role of the central banks. The central bank is run by the people we can call the money guys. So it is these money guys who decide the interest rate at which other banks borrow money from the central bank. If this rate increases, the cost of borrowing money increases, which means it becomes more expensive for businesses and individuals to borrow money, and higher borrowing cost leads to a lesser spending, and lesser spending leads to a decreased demands for goods and services, which ultimately results in lowering of the inflation. Now the major question arises, how does it concern us?
Well, if Indian exports become costlier to US, which is one of the largest trading partners of India, we are going to get lesser dollars, and lesser dollars will in turn result in depletion of our foreign resources, and the companies will be less profitable. They will try to reduce the expenses, and they will be doing so by cutting the wages and possibly reducing the number of employees, and which in turn will lead to increased inflation because number one, the value of money has reduced, and number two, there are far more people with lesser money than earlier. So it is going to be tough, but let's see, wait and watch. And what happens, we'll find it out together.